With the increasing volume of users and transaction, now that you mentioned also about the projection that is really big in the upcoming years, and then also a very big support from the government for digital ecosystem, financial ecosystem, and so on. What strategic steps has Mastercard taken to ensure the security of digital interaction amidst this growing volume of users and transactions?
I think several. I think the first one obviously is we are a technology company, and I think we put ourselves out there by saying that we're also a thought leader in this space, kind of really leading the digital revolution. And so I think since 2018, we've invested almost $11 billion in cybersecurity tools.
$11 billion.
Yes, that's right. I mean, we run the largest payment network in the world. And in order to do so in a way that helps to keep the ecosystem safe and stable, we've developed a lot of solutions, processes, and expertise to keep our network and everyone operating in it safe. We extend that then, I think, to trying to think about how that keeps the digital economy safe. So we've made significant investments in those cybersecurity solutions. We are thought leaders in this space. And so the first thing that we are doing, I think, as a strategic step is making sure that the best-in-class solutions that we use can be available to every other business, financial institution, and digital player in this country so that we can collectively keep Indonesia safe. So I think that's one of the big strategic steps from a solutions perspective. Just to give you a sense of where we're at, I think everybody talks about AI today, right? And factually, it is true that AI is both the sword and the shield when it comes to cybercrime. So criminals are also using technology and AI to attack financial transactions and to attack data and institutions. And so it's important that we are also on the leading edge together, collectively, to I think, fight against this cybercrime. So a lot of thought and expertise has to come into that. I think that's one of the big strategic pieces that we have in terms of the thought leadership. I think the second thing that we are looking at is that we talked about the digital economy. And the digital economy, this is my word, I'm going to use it, is essentially a very connected collective. It is not one single
connected collective.
It's not one single institution. It's not a single company. It's not a single brand. It's not even a single country. It's everybody connected together. When you think about it from that perspective, and you think about the power that technology gives everyone in that collective, we say that the attack surface becomes very large, which means any single person in that connected collective can be attacked. So the only way to really win in the long run against cybercrime is to work together. And I think the other strategic step that we've made, in addition to leading the product and technology piece, is really to change our mindset as to what it takes to win. It wasn't that long ago when someone thought of security, someone thought about building walls and silos to protect themselves.
It turns out it's not.
It's not. The best way to keep yourself safe is to work together because your attack surface is very big. Factually, you are connected. Right? So we've changed our mindset in terms of what it means to be a really strong ecosystem player and an industry leader. So whether that is sharing the technology that we have, exchanging signals with other people in that collective to say, here is a signal that this might be high risk, here is a signal that you should ask or double check again, exchanging signals. And most importantly, I call it sharing stories. But really, I think just sitting down with everyone in the industry to say, what have you seen? What have I seen? And what do we learn together? I think is quite important. People talk a lot about criminals using the dark web. And they go, ooh, this is so scary. Because, anybody, an 18-year-old could just go into the dark web and they can find the recipes for essentially global disaster, right? It's so easy for criminals to share information about how to attack us. And I think we need to also step up and start to share information about how to protect ourselves. So strategically for us, beyond just the tools and the solutions, the second piece, and this is critical, is that mindset change of how we work together, both in terms of sharing information, but also passing on data pieces that help each other to keep us safe. I think the third strategic piece, and this one always comes back down to what happens in the country, is capacity development. And I think this is quite important because people are part of the connected collective. I remember being in a different part of Southeast Asia. And we were talking a lot about what we were building and what standards we were using, so on and so forth. And ultimately, scams continue to happen because you cannot protect human beings from themselves. You can't protect human beings from their human feelings and their human nature, and people will find a way to get to you. So even with the best technology in place, human beings sometimes can be the weakest link. And this is where I feel capacity development is quite important. I think for us in Indonesia, my view is we take kind of a three-prong approach to it. I think we want to try and keep individuals safe. So there is kind of a staying safe component where we are working with ComDigi Info to make sure that there are online courses to increase cyber awareness. People kind of understand, don't click on this link, do that. So those are the things I think are important. We do a lot of work in helping UMKMs stay connected. So that's the other piece, I think, a little bit about capacity building. When we talk about financial inclusion, it's also important to talk about digital inclusion. So in addition to consumers who are online all the time and how to keep them safe, it's also important to try and bring UMKMs into the fray and make sure they stay connected. So we've got training and capacity development there as well. I think the last one, and this is quite important, we can see a huge shortage of cybersecurity professionals.
In Indonesia?
In the world.
In the world.
In the world. The rate at which cybercrime is happening and the rate at which we need to build to defend against it, there's probably a huge shortage of cybersecurity professionals in the right place, in the right place. And I have the opportunity, I think, to be on the alumni advisory board for the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. And we agree that cybersecurity is a topic that is very hard to teach because it evolves so fast, it doesn't even have a chance to get ingested into
a
academia.
curriculum.
That's right. So the professor, by the time the professor tries to lecture on it, it could be outdated by the next term, right? So it is also very important that we do a bit of real-time capacity building there for IT professionals to stay relevant, right? So this is really, I think for us in terms of capacity building, we look at it in terms of three buckets: keeping people safe, helping them stay connected, but also making sure that they stay relevant. And this is for the betterment of Indonesia.
Staying in